So Shedeur Sanders finally in today's practice got to go against the ones. He did not play with the ones offensively, he was with the twos, but he went against the ones defensively, and he did about as good as he could have for the opportunity that he was given, and that's all he has done all camp long. I mean, I know I'm going to get accused of glazing or whatever the new 2025 lingo is, but this dude dominates every chance he gets. He always leads in efficiency according to the made-up stats after every practice. To me, it's frustrating how this league has treated Shedeur because the talent is there, and he is making that so obvious. His footwork and pocket presence is beyond NFL worthy. Maybe he doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he doesn't force the issue, and he still has enough arm strength to make any throw from anywhere on the field, and the touch on his passes is what has stood out to me the most over the last few weeks. Today really did feel like a breakthrough day for Shedeur Sanders. The Browns coaching staff have no more excuses left to not want to see him against the ones a lot more, especially with the Kenny Pickett injury. If Shedeur does not get more chances after today, then that is pure agenda, and honestly, I'm not having it. I've said it before, Shedeur is the most talented QB the Browns have right now. People have said Dillon Gabriel is miles ahead, but I personally just haven't seen it. That doesn't mean that I'm right or that I'm wrong, but I've watched nearly every rep throughout camp very closely, and Dillon to me just doesn't have the tools to be a good NFL QB. I hope I'm wrong, I really do. But first off, he's undersized, and on multiple occasions, he has struggled against bigger D linemen in front of him. Second of all, I have seen him force throws that aren't there way too much. Even today, he was like 6 for 11. But there should have been a bad interception in there. The guy just dropped it. And Shedeur has all the tools to be a good NFL quarterback in the future. He's got the pocket awareness. He's got decent height. He's not like a mobile QB, but he definitely can take off if it is needed to. He can scramble for a first down every now and then. And he did not put up fake numbers or stats in Colorado. Everything he did was with no O-line. It's tough to put into words my frustration with how the Browns have handled this entire situation over the last few weeks. And I have every right to complain because the Browns have proven they are not a competent decision-making organization over the last 2 decades. You definitely don't want to rush a QB out there as a rookie. I know that, but times are definitely changing. We all saw what Jaden McDaniels did with Washington. I really think it just depends on the person. But Shedeur Sanders, starter or not starter, needs equal opportunity. That's all I'm asking for. He needs real reps against actual NFL defenders to develop properly. Like, how on earth are you going to plan to give Kenny Pickett a bunch of reps with the ones while Shedeur works with the equipment staff? That's terrible. That shows how the Browns have no idea what they're doing from top to bottom. And if it was not for the Pickett injury, I think we all still would be dealing with this as fans. I know that Shedeur does not have much leverage right now because of how everyone passed on him, but that whole thing really felt like an inside job. Nick Saban was stunned watching him fall. Really, the whole College Game Day crew was. And the only logical reason for it was because teams did not want to deal with the outside noise and the supposed ego. But now we are seeing why Mel Kiper Jr. projected him to be taken 2nd overall. And since we know that he really doesn't have much of an ego compared to everyone else in the league and has kept quiet and pretty much to himself, he's done all the right things. Now that we and the Browns know that, it makes no sense for him to not get the same opportunity as everyone else, because we know he is more than capable and talented enough to win the job with who else is in the room against him. But enough of my rant. Now I want to talk about today's practice because Shedeur went 6 for 10 on his reps, 2 of 3 against the ones with the twos, so Jimmy Butler style, if you know, you know. And let's take a look at some of the plays. This first rep, because of the angle, it's pretty tough to see the defensive formation, but I do see Nick Niekamp, I believe, in the deep secondary. He is in a zone, but Shedeur immediately off rip looks to the other side of the field, and he steps up and fires a seam to Brandon Bates out in the flats, who picks up a few yards. This was just another example of taking what's given, not forcing the issue, and early down yards are huge in this league. It's not like college where 2nd and 10 is no big deal. You need to move the ball forward, even if it's just 2 yards on first down. Next, we have Shedeur back under center again after Flacco and Pickett got a few reps. Finally, for once, we saw some okay blocking from the second unit, buying Shedeur some time to move around the pocket. And even with Newsome in the secondary, off his back foot, he put the football right in stride to gauge Larvadain for what would be a first down. And then after this session with the ones, we got to see Shedeur back fully with the twos, where he was fine, nothing spectacular, but really solid has been the word to describe Shedeur all camp long. And then for Dillon Gabriel, he was not bad today, but again, there was one play that really stood out where he threw what should have been an interception, definitely would have been picked in a real game situation, and that is kind of what I've seen a lot from Dillon through this camp. Again, I'm not even trying to hate. I'm a diehard Browns fan, and I don't care who it is that succeeds. I would love for the Browns to figure out this quarterback problem that has haunted them over the last 2 decades. And I hope that Gabriel proves me wrong, I really do. But some of these throws into traffic, they really concern me because this is only a practice setting. The actual game will speed you up as a player even more, especially with the jump to the NFL, and I'm kind of worried that Gabriel is really going to struggle out of the gate. Early today, Dave Bacon of Cleveland.com spoke about what the takeaways from the last week of camp have been, and here's what he had to say.
You've been at every training camp practice. What are your takeaways to this point? What have you seen? What are some of the things that that you like? Some of the things that you think are a little bit concerning?
Well, the injury, first of all, the injury to Emerson is a big deal. He's a guy who's playing at a high level. He practiced at a high level, and he was really having a great camp. That means Newsome, first snap that happened, as I told you yesterday, Newsome went outside and Hickman went to the nickel. And then that guy could see Jenkins, a bunch of other guys, Edmonds, that are playing that free. Delpit's not practicing a bunch right now. I think he's just getting a little bit of rest last couple of days, but he'll be that guy down in the box. So that concerns me, that injury, just because of the way he's playing and kind of the leadership he brings. A couple things that are really exciting for the Browns, right, is that they're being really aggressive on both sides of the ball on the offensive defensive line, which gives you a chance to win. There's some guys that everybody expects is going to be good is really good. What I expected with Mason Graham when the pads went on is exactly what I'm seeing. He's starting to be really tough to block because of the fact he bends so well. That's the one thing I learned today is what an athlete he is. I didn't realize I knew he had leverage and balance and all those things as a former wrestler, but his ability to bend off the corner today was really impressive. Carson Schweizinger is an absolute tackling machine. He's been like that the first couple of days of pads. He's all over the place. He's so instinctual. So that's really promising. The receiver core, obviously you got Tillman and you got Judy, but then those guys behind, Floria, Thrash, Caden Davis, this Cage, Larvadan, he's having a pretty good camp. So interested to see those 3rd, 4th, 5th receivers. But I think the most promising thing is just the energy and the attitude and the sense of urgency and the attention to detail that they're playing with.
Also following today's practice, a lot of the players themselves had press conferences, and here were some of the best things said.
Yeah, football obviously is football. He's a huge piece of our defense. But just at being a brother, it's bigger to me. It's bigger than the game of football. A guy that I've seen since the all-season started, been putting in a lot of work. Been one of the last guys to leave the building every single day. A guy that just brings passion, energy. I'm gonna definitely miss him out there as a brother. I'm gonna miss him every single snap. I definitely feel for him, but I know he'll get through this and he'll be back to his form.
That's really all I got for today's video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. It was nice to see Shedeur finally get to go against the ones on defense, and I thought overall he had a solid day. I would definitely grade him an A-, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly means the world. And until next time, I will see you all later.